Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. For those of you Guardians out there who have held the hung jury up as the gold standard, we have a new rifle, the Force Memorializer, and it's pure gravy, baby. The only jury we really want to hang on to now is that rapid hitbox breathing. It's still going to pop off in the Cruci, but all my variants that I rocked in the Vanguard have now been deleted and replaced with the Force Memorializer. It is a kinetic 180 RPM frame. In the left hand column, it can roll a shoot to loot, auto-loading holster, lone wolf, rapid hit, explosive payload, and bewildering burst. And in the right we've got outlaw, to the pain, kinetic tremors, multi-kill clip, elemental honing, and ancillary ordnance. Some standouts in the left for the Cruci would be like lone wolf, rapid hit, explosive payload, and in the right would be looking at like kinetic tremors and elemental honing. Honing on a kinetic weapon is potent as puck. On elemental weapons, this only starts at a 2.5% damage increase and finishes off at a 35% damage bonus, but on kinetics, it starts off at a 10% damage bonus and ends at a 40%. So this scout is going to shine on many levels. We've got many options. I've gone for kinetic tremors. We land multiple hits. It's going to create multiple shockwaves. And on my kit, I'm running an awful lot of suspension. So I'm rocking that temporal loader mod. So as I put more bullets in faces, this puts multiple bullets back in my magazine. This is a great kinetic weapon to use against those anti-barrier champions. This allows us to safely reload and not have to like perfectly time our reloads, as that kinetic shockwave can often break those barrier shields when we take in on those champs solo by ourselves at -40 and above. I'm going to be rocking that bewildering burst in the left hand column. We get a kill, we reload, and then on that next hit, it's going to trigger off a little flashbang in their face. This perk is not to be underestimated. Its little blind blast variant lasts for 6 seconds, and those bad dudes that were like super angry like you touched their sister will now just saunter around like some dumb old clownfish. Now, because damage resistance is always important when we're facing down gods and their hordes, I'm rocking Vanguard Determination as our origin trait on the Scouty. We pop our class, we get that kill, we get that damage resist. This also stacks. The first kill gives us a 2% DR, second is 4%, then third is 6%. The artifact also has a lot of great perks that make this Scouty sing. That rapid precision rifling gives us increased reloads and flinch resistance when landing those critical hits. We've got semi-auto striker, so when we land crits, if we have less than 2 armor charges, it's going to create armor charges purely by putting bullets in their face holes. I'm rocking armor surges on this kit so it comes in handy. And with light forged lead, it's also going to increase our ammo generation on all pickups with our kinetic weapons. And with that fresh smell of bullets, when we pick up those ammo bricks, it's going to increase our kinetic weapon damage in form of a kinetic surge. Now, I posted up a warlock build last week that will work particularly well with this scout rifle. I'll link it at the end of this video. But the Titan I've been rocking here has been purposely built around that Force Memorializer. We've got a 2-piece wrecker. So we deal significantly increased kinetic damage to shields, overshields, vehicles and constructs. This makes shooting out those mines or vec nodes a breeze, but mainly I just want to chew out those energy shields. All of the gameplay today is at -40 content with match game on. So you know those shields are going to be tougher to break than a nun's virginity. Without the Tech armor on, our scout rifle is only doing 83 damage to the shield. But with it active, we're nearly doing 4 times the damage at 339 per bullet. With the 4-piece Tech on, we're going to be making even more of those dumb clownfish out there, out of those hostile forces, as when we defeat powerful combatants, or purely by breaking a combatant's shield with kinetic damage, it's going to release that disorientating kinetic shockwave. This effect lasts for 4.5 seconds. But it's how well it plays in conjunction with that bewildering burst and those kinetic tremors that makes this build a delight. You know, we get that kinetic tremors kill, we get that reload, we just touch that next enemy, it's going to blind him, allowing us to break his shield fast, and that is going to blind enemies even further, get our kill on, get our roll on, kill on, roll on. Now we've often got armor charges thanks to semi-auto striker and the artifact. I'm also running kinetic siphon to make an overpower off of our kinetic kills. I would suggest running 1 reload mod, as this weapon will be our primary point of attack. I'm running ×2 kinetic surge mods to give us a 17% surge. but when we pick up that ammo brick, thanks to fresh smell of bullets, it's going to turn that into a tier 3 surge. And I got 1 times dilation mod on my Titan butt flap, extending out that armor charge to 15 seconds each charge. Now for my kit, I've chosen to run the Mask of the Quiet One. It has long been one of my favourite exotic rifles to use with my scout rifle builds. It grants us class ability energy when we're damaged, so we're always going to have access to our barricades, and when we have a void super equipped, our rapid final blows and final blows whilst we're critically wounded grant us Devour. This means more survivability, getting health back on kills, and more grenade energy. The stats on my kit are roughly 100 melee, super, class, and weapons, and I've got 50 health and 50 nade, but this mask is going to fill up those shortfalls. I can't tell you how many times my butthole has been puckered. I'm on death's door, you get that barricade, you plant it down, you get that kill, and go turn the tables on them. As we're rocking that Void Super on Prismatic, try and chuck it out at the start of the damage phase. It's a great range damage, and it's going to weaken the target for both yourself and allies. I'm pairing it with the Microcosm Exotic Trace Rifle in the heavy slot. It's got that perk Paracausal Imbuement, so our final blows with this weapon grant us bonus super energy, and after we throw out that super, it's going to give us bonus weapon damage on the Trace Rifle, meaning boss mouse are on and super gain is up. Not to mention the fact that this is a kinetic weapon, so it's going to pair perfectly with our Texic armor, and when you get that surprise wave of ads, it's just good to pull this up and blast them all away. My energy weapon of choice for this kit would be the Unfall Arc Rocket Sidearm. This season it's an unstopped weapon, but with jolting feedback we can also make it an overload weapon. That way we've got all 3 champs covered. I like running it with Disruption Break in the left hand column to give us bonus kinetic weapon damage after we break that shield. With this kit we're just pumping out barricades, so I'm running that Reaper mod and Powerful Attractions mod. We plant down that barricade, it's going to suck up all those orbs within 15 meters of us, and then we get a weapon kill within 10 seconds. We create an orb of power. This allows us to daisy chain that armor surge as we move up the battlefield. We're running the Drink / Strand aspect, so as we activate our barricade, it puts that ripple along the ground, hoists up our foes in those green gimp ropes. It's great against those unstops, and thanks to our weapon mod, it allows us to put more bullets back in our magazines and gives us time to get off that reload. Rally barricade all day long. Honestly, it's amazing how far this bad boy has come. It used to be quite the joke, but it's now ridiculous how much damage these things absorb, whilst also giving us increased weapon stability, range, and reload. But between all that barricade DR and the fact we're running that Vanguard's Determination, we can just plant down that barricade, put bullets in bosses' faces. It's particularly strong with anti-barrier, as we can just shoot through those Hydra shields whilst eating all that splash. I've got Facet of Hope on, so whilst we have an elemental buff, our class ability regenerates more quickly. Devour is the main buff we have on this build, so this gives us a 40% class regen rate. But if you have any one of the others, you know, like Amplify, Frost Armor, Wave of Mail, Cure, whatever you might have, it's going to boost our class regen to 60%. So paired with this helmet, we are never shy on this barricade. We are rocking Facet of Grace, so when we defeat targets with our kinetic weapons, it's going to grant us bonus transcendent energy, a very important fragment when you're rocking anything kinetic. We want that transcendent up as often as possible, as this gives us that increased ability to regenerate, increased weapon damage, and increased damage resistance. I'm not really spamming my transcendence like consecration style. I'm just taking it nice and chill, sitting back, bathing in that splash damage, firing my scouty, and hipping up those electrified snare grenades for that great crowd suppression. And whilst those bad dudes are all suspended up on those gimp ropes with the jumper cables hooked up to their nips, my temporal loader mod is going into overdrive, just pumping bullets back into my magazine. We've got Facet of Justice equipped, so whilst transcendent, our ability final blows explode. The great thing about our electrified snare grenades is they just burn enemies down. I'm also a giant tosser. I love that shield throw. This is just going to bounce and ricochet off them bad dudes, making popcorns whilst giving us overshields. It's a great panic melee when things are like pushing up on you. I just throw it out, get me a little overshield whilst I make my retreat. But we don't need to run all that often, as we have that Facet of Solitude. So whilst we land rapid precision hits, it's going to emit a severing blast, meaning less damage output from our foes. We got faster protection, so while surrounded we get that 15% damage resist, and if I'm in the pink mist this becomes a 32% damage resist. If those bad guys breach my safe space, I've always got knockout. This gives us those super strong uncharged melees, gives us amplified, which again gives us more damage resist, and restores a small portion of health. Now feel free to pause here for my artifact, my fragments and my mods, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. I've gone for quite a balanced kit here with my stats. It's all about the harmony, bringing them all together to make the gunplay on the Scouty so damn good. The Force Memorializer is an absolute workhorse. Regardless of the level of content you're running, you'll ride straight through it. I'd love to know what combo you're rocking on your Scouty. And if there are any hunters out there with a solid tech sec build, please holler at me, send me your dim links down below. I'm super curious what you guys are rocking. I don't quite have a tech sec build on my hunter that I'm purely vibing with yet, so it would be most appreciated. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, or what a tie.